Hello everyone and welcome to the Douglas Alma Mind Show. I'm Georgia Henderson, Public Information Officer. We want you to stay tuned. Whenever we come back, we're going to share information with you on some community organizations that you probably have never heard of coming up in the community. So stay tuned. We'll be back right after this break. We're back from break, and joining me on the show now is Renee Holton, who is the CEO of a local organization called Quest for Hearts. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And I'm glad to have you here today. If you would start by telling us, because I didn't know until recently, what exactly is Quest of Heart?
Well, Quest of Heart, we started about 2010 or 11. I first started trying to figure out ways to help other families because so many people had started blessing Lancelot with trips and things. He got to go to dairy farms and all over, the United States. He started doing that, and then he got to go hunting. So it blessed my heart. And even though I knew that I didn't financially have a way of doing it, I knew that I wanted to start doing things because Lancelot, and we were told every 3 to 6 months for him to be able to live, he would have to be in the hospital.
Well, excuse me let me stop you a minute. So, Sir Lancelot is your son?
Yes.
Okay, because everyone probably need to know that. Okay,
yes. And it was Memorial Day weekend. Labor Day weekend. That was the second time we went to Boston Children's Hospital, and they told me they'd never let anybody leave the hospital that's sick, but they were kind of letting us come home so that he could die at home. And then we found out that nobody else was ever going to be able to touch him. All the surgeries and procedures that they said that he would need, they couldn't do them. So I used to be jealous of the parents and the children that they could fix. Even my niece, who had the surgeries, I was thinking it's just not fair that Lancelot didn't. And I would sit there and I'd wait because they told me I didn't need to learn CPR, I didn't need to learn anything. That he was just, I would look at him like I'm looking at you, turn to look at something and look back, and he would be dead, and there would be nothing anybody could do. Well, those first, I would say 5 years after he had a stroke, just before his 5th birthday, we were constantly going to doctors. He had 28 doctors at one time. So it was like that's all our life revolved around, was doctors, therapists, that kind of stuff. So all of a sudden Lancelot started getting healthier, or it wasn't bothering him. He wasn't healthier. God just kind of took over, and when man said they couldn't do anything else, God said, I can. So all the things that couldn't work, he made
it's
work.
in the hand of God.
Yes. So it's like he just like lives in God's time, and it's still at this moment he could die at any moment, have a major stroke or anything. So I started thinking,
how old is he now?
He just turned 23.
Wow.
September 4th. So I started thinking about all the other families when we started getting blessings, because with sensory stuff he couldn't ride in the car, he couldn't go places very often, and that's why we always have a convertible. And when people started doing things, blessing Lancelot, that's when I started thinking, now what can we do to do things for other people, Lancelot? We need to try to do things. So that's how Quest of Heart started. And we work with the doctors and the people in the hospitals to find the families that nobody else is helping, that people are overlooked, like military families. Like I think recently, like Danny Lynn's in the hospital, and I had talked to her mother before, right when she found out what was going on with Danny Lynn, and we've maintained contact, and I'm just blessed by seeing how the community went to help them. But there are people in the hospital that nobody helps, and there's babies that people leave because they're sickly children.
Well, specifically, how does Quest of Heart help other heart patients?
Okay, what we do is, like I said, we fill these bags up, and it's called Christmas. Quest for the Heart of Christmas all year long.
Okay.
So whenever we get some of these bags filled, and we put toys in them, inspirational books, things for the parents, We try to get gift cards and stuff like that, and we'll give those to, like I said, the people.
It's like a care package bag.
It is. But then it also, you want them to have something fun. You want to give them crafts. You want to give them books. You want to give them stuff to do. And just things that you would need if you were in the hospital. And just things to make them smile, because it's just, and people forget when they're there for a year or 2 years in the hospital, even if the community is following you for a while, or you're going to be alone, because after so long, that's just, everybody goes on with their life.
Well, and this is a very neat program to provide the care package for the parents and the kids as well while they're in the hospital for an extended time, because it helps to have something to occupy your mind and your time. If you would share with us, because I know one thing you do is try to bring awareness to these two diseases, and that is the congenital heart defects and the complex congenital heart defects. If you would explain to everyone the difference between the two.
1 in 100 kids can be born with congenital heart defects. It's the most prevalent birth defect there is. There's still, there's no cause for it. I mean, they don't know what causes it. Anybody can have a child with congenital heart defects or complex congenital heart defects. It's 1 in 18,000 that has the complex congenital heart defects, like Lancelot and my niece Cherie had. And it's just, most people do not know about it. They hear about childhood cancer, and Lancelot, he had a disorder to 2010, so we were always on the cancer ward. We hung out with those children. And and my heart goes out to all those children. And when we go to the hospital, and even the children are in ICU, they'll get the bags too. It doesn't matter who does it, because that's in our bylaws, is we will help any family that's in there that's in need. But my most important thing is to reach out to those families, because when Lancelot got his first appointment at Boston Children's Hospital, the doctor in Jacksonville gave us the thing. But there's programs in place for the cancer patients. So that doctor got us airplane tickets and got us a place to stay and the money to live on while we're there, because there was not that for congenital heart defects, even though 2 times as many children die a year from congenital heart defects as they do all the childhood cancers combined. It's just, I can't figure out the difference, and I think I've gotten there about the congenital heart caucus.
Yes.
And the thing in there about that is when I went there, I didn't realize how unknown it is. It's like there was a pie chart of the monies that they give out to different diseases and defects and stuff. Congenital heart defects was the least funded one. Now, the first open heart surgery was done on a blue baby, a congenital heart defects baby. And the bypass machine was invented for this process. So much of the adult things that we have that we, or the disease that we developed, are the help that we get, the treatments that we get are because of these children. And these children are not being helped. Like the American Heart Association, only 1 penny of all their money that they get, like if $1, 1 penny goes to congenital heart defects. So it's like these small things like I do, we really reach in to try to help the families. And that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to help the families that overlook, because their whole life, I got the Jacksonville Zoo to donate 20 tickets.
Yes.
And like a family came back or something, and they gave them those tickets, and they said, that's so good, because they had another small child, and they said, we don't have the money to do that. I know that you don't have the money to do extra things. And so that was after that child had open heart surgery, the tickets were there for them.
Well, let me ask you this. What is the Mended Little Hearts and Adult Congenital Heart Association?
The Mended Little Hearts, they do a lot of different programs for kids, but I'd never even heard of it till like a couple of years ago. So like Lancelot and I were over, if you don't live in a big town, you're not connected with these things. So that, and like American Adult Congenital Heart Defects, we went to the caucus. They're trying to raise awareness and get more because a lot of them are living to adulthood now because of all the surgeries. There's 3 surgeries for like those were well, I would say that, but one of the most prevalent complex. They are living longer now. And I walked around with one of them all day, and it was just a blessing because even if, all right, there might have, like Lancelot has Williams syndrome, and if you have complex congenital heart defects, everybody is unique, even in that situation, because like Lancelot's the only child with Williams syndrome that has a bleeding disorder, and most of the children that have what he has with the complex vascular disease like Lancelot has, well, they only live to 1.5 or 2, the most, and Lancelot's 23. So it's just who they are, how God blesses them, how God does them, you know. So it's like the first time we went to the hospital and I was actually walking around, the first person we met, the little Liam, I just fell in love with him, and he passed away. And I was worried because I brought Lancelot with me, and I didn't want to give false hope to anybody because you can't. I mean, we don't know what God's going to do. And
but it's sharing inspirations with others.
There's always hope. There's always hope, and that's what I want to make sure they know. And I had the pleasure at your expo of meeting Wanda Terrace, and she is one of the first babies that got open heart surgery. She just happened to come up to me, and it was such a blessing. My sister said, "I thought you met a rock star or something. You're just glowing." And I'm like, who would have ever thought she would have walked up to me? And Dr. Vivian Thomas, he's the one that did the surgery, and he's the first one that did the open heart surgery. So he was in the movie Something the Lord Made. You saw that. He was her doctor, and he stayed by her for 3 weeks. Her parents had to pay him. It was during World War II, so they had to pay out of pocket for him to actually do it. So her story, Lancelot's story, Liam's story, other people's story, I'm now going to do a Quest of Heart magazine to put in our bags. I was
going to ask you about that and to share with before we go today, but yes. Briefly tell us, how can someone get involved if they want to be a part of, learn more about Quest for Heart and your magazine and the services that you provide?
They can call me at 501-0296, and I also work part-time at Earl McCrae's office, and that's 384-0007. And you can find us on Facebook. We even have a website, but I've found out that most people go to Facebook, so you can find us on Facebook.
Okay.
Yes.
And the Facebook link will lead you to the website? Okay,
and
well,
it's
great.
questofheart.com if you want to find that. And that's got Cherie, my niece's story, and it's got Lancelot's story and some of his quests and adventures. And like I said, those are all, it's together and separate. One day I hope to have a magazine online so that the children in the hospital, like when he goes to dairy farms or he goes to see peacocks, that I'll be able to video it or something, and they can see all the animals and things that Lancelot do while they're in the hospital. It'll just be something different. So to inspire them, like Lancelot used to do therapeutic riding, and I was with a group and I was talking to them online and stuff. Next thing you know, all their kids are on doing therapeutic riding. So it's like if they can see things that
that help others,
they'll find it.
Well, that's great. Well, Renee, I want to thank you for the work that you're doing through Quest of Heart, and continue to be an inspiration to others. And I'm glad you got to meet that lady, because that brought inspiration back to you. And so if the community is out there, you've never heard of Quest of Heart, this is an introduction to it. And give Renee a call, contact her to see how you can get involved. Thank you for being on the show today. I know you have so much more to say, but we got to go for the sake of time. But I do thank you for being here and sharing your program.
Thank you for letting me come and talk about Quest of Heart.
You're welcome. We'll be back with more Douglas on My Mind right after this break.